All right, so welcome back. You're still tuned into Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for staying with us. This is the final segment of today's program. We are taking a look at today's market analysis with Toba Kamete from Nedbank. Very good afternoon, Toba. Thank you for coming back today. What's happening in the markets today? Any update on the trade war between China and the U.S.?
Thank you, Lulu. Good afternoon to you and our viewers. Today nothing new. The trade war is still continuing between the two biggest economies in the world. Last night, President Trump commissioned a probe into the critical minerals that the U.S. imports, likely to see what tariffs can be implemented. So it seems to be moving to a more product or sector-specific tariffs now. So we would get a report in 120 days, so in 3 months, rather 4 months in terms of that probe. But what is key there is that China supplies 30 of the 50 critical minerals that the U.S. is importing. So the trade war is definitely still continuing. The White House, President Trump did say issued a statement yesterday that they are open to talks with China, but China must make the first move. And China today has said that they are open to talking to the U.S., but they want respect and they want to nominate who they want to speak to. So it seems to be, a struggle of the two giants. No one is willing to put their, weapons down. Everyone is saying that I can talk to you, but if you want to fight, I'm ready to fight as well.
Yeah. So where do you see this leading to, just according to your knowledge and the trade?
Yeah, it seems to be moving to, as I've said, to product specific, because as I've said that the U.S. has come out to say they want to look into their critical minerals that they are importing to see where it will head if they're hit. China has come out to say they are limiting or stopping supplies of aircraft to the U.S. You have the U.S. as well saying that NVIDIA, which supplies AI chips to China, are to apply for a license for exports to China, which has significantly also just hurt NVIDIA as well and other related companies in that they are talking of losses of about 5.5 billion if that happens. So this essentially then limits what China can get out of the US, because the US is saying that these chips can be used to create mega computers that China can then use to attack them and things like that. So they want to regulate what AI technology they are supplying China with, hence the introduction of the licenses for exports of AI chips to China. So I'm saying that to sort of highlight that it's moving to product specific or to sectors more than just blanket tariffs.
Yeah, speaking of tariffs, with the 90-day tariff pause, how are investors, manufacturers making sense of this 90-day pause?
Yeah, so it has sort of given a bit of relief, but there's still uncertainty hanging over investors and businesses, because it is a pause. They're not being scraped away. So it means that in 90 days, we are likely to then see them being reintroduced or them being increased. So it sort of has left that bit of uncertainty in the different countries that are affected.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's take a look at how the markets are reacting today, starting off with, of course, currencies. What is happening today?
All right, so we see the rand gaining a bit of strength today. As you can see, it's green against the US dollar, 18.8725. You'll recall that last week we are coming back from levels of about 19.8 at some point. Also gained a bit of strength against the pound, which is trading at 25.02. and slightly sluggish against the euro at 21.4366. So with regards to the rand, it is taking its cues from global sentiments. We did get business performance index this morning, as well as retail sales, which showed that slowed down or from compared to previous months, but it is still taking its cues from global sentiments. The pound, on the other hand, is a bit down today because of inflation numbers. So the UK released inflation numbers for March, which showed that inflation in the UK declined to 2.6% from 2.8. The market was expecting 2.7. So that sort of weakened the pound. But overall, it is a good outlook for the rand right now. Still, risk sentiments in South Africa, when you look at the domestic environment, points to the GNU. There's still that issue of the VAT agreement, or the budget, if I can put it like that, the budget alignment between the two big parties in the GNU, that is still not resolved. But that sentiment is sort of not heavily weighing on the rand. I would say it's just taking cues now from the global sentiments.
Okay, so moving on to commodities today, I see that gold and oil is up today. What's led to this?
All right, so definitely gold is up. These are record levels for gold. I know I keep coming here every week and saying these are record levels because they keep on being broken, those records. So gold is trading at 3,303.55 per ounce today. And crude oil at 68.02 per barrel, both up. Gold is due to it being a hedge in times of economic instability. So with the trade war, investors are then looking for more stable options for them to invest their money. Central banks, likewise, are also looking at putting their reserves in gold instead of riskier assets. So gold is winning in that regard. And then crude oil at 68.02 per barrel is up today. So we've seen the price of oil sort of go down over the last 2 weeks or a week, but it has sort of turned a bit today due to China released their first quarter GDP numbers this morning, which showed that the Chinese economy grew 5.4% against 5.1% in the same quarter last year. So this then gives the market an incline of hope that there's going to be more activity, and more activity means more demand for oil, especially in China, which is one of the biggest consumers of oil in the world.
Okay, so I see the gold and oil is in the green zone today. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for equities today. What's happening in equities today?
All right, so when we look at our equities, our equity index this afternoon, the S&P 500 is down, and the FTSE as well. The S&P 500 at 5,396.63. The biggest decline there was NVIDIA, which shared about 6% of its share price last night when President Trump, or when the US announced that they will be required to get licenses for their AI chip exports to China. So China contributes about 13% of their sales. So that's a big market. I think it's about $18 billion. So that announcement then caused the market to sort of, sell off their shares, and the share price then went down 6% because NVIDIA announced that move is going to cost them about $5.5 billion as well. So it is part of the trade war. The FTSE, on the other hand, also down 0.36%, trading at 8,217.52 pounds. The biggest decline there was from Bunzl, a distribution company, one of the biggest distribution companies in the UK,